Hey everybody, Aaron Blaze here, and it is March 31st. It is Tuesday morning for us here in the eastern United States, and we are still quarantined. Day 14 of our quarantine. I think it's day 14 for us, or something like
Something
that.
like that.
So we got a little ways to go. So we think we may have had a little bit of a scare in our family. I'm not sure yet. We're still waiting on results, but I'm sure other people around the world are going through the same thing. It's kind of a drag.
Kinda.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of a drag, actually. And there's a lot of poor people out there that are really sick. And so our hearts are out and thoughts are out with everybody. And we're hoping that you guys are all staying healthy. We certainly are trying to. We got bored, so we just started building stuff and we cut our hair. Show me. Show me your hair, Dustin. Yeah.
It's all gone.
Yeah, we got bored. We did. I figured, hey, I don't know when I'm going to see my hairdresser again. So, and it was like, okay, what do you want to do now? We're bored. We're sitting out backyard. What do you want to do now? Hey, let's cut my hair. So, we just buzzed it, took it down to a 1. Feels so good. It's so
I know,
velvety.
right?
Oh, it's so velvety.
You get that nice cool breeze in the back of your
I
head.
know. It's like a velvet painting. I want to paint Elvis on it.
Paint Elvis.
Yeah, Elvis on a black velvet painting. Yeah, it feels good. And it's a lot cooler because it's been really hot here.
Oh yeah.
And but last week, if you guys remember, last week I started a little painting of the cityscape on a bridge. I wanted to show you guys the finished result here. Let me blow it up. There we go. So you can see, I finished it Thursday. It took a few days. It was actually a long one. You can see I threw in a lot of detail. It's a lot of suggested detail, in matte painting and things like that. You don't have to. If you look at the old matte paintings from, the original Star Wars, it's pretty amazing how loose those paintings were, how much you can get away with. And so that's kind of the idea here. You just keep it kind of loose. If you look in this background area, you can see how loose all of that is. And but when you kind of pull back, it works with the rest of the painting.
So loosey-goosey.
Ah, loosey-goosey. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. So anyway, that was this last week when we started. It was a couple of hours of kind of getting the drawing done and some of the initial color, and then I went off and took a couple days and did this. So that was cool. Today I am taking one of Dustin's nature photographs and I'm going to be doing a painting of it. Yay. And so he's got this beautiful photograph. I love this silhouette of this red-winged blackbird right out from one of our swamps here.
Yeah, Lake Woodruff.
Lake Woodruff Wildlife Refuge.
And I just got this photo yesterday with my brand new camera, and it is awesome.
And I just really like the shimmer, the sheen on the black feathers, and so I thought, and obviously then the red accents, and so I thought, hey, that should be a fun digital painting and something I can do fairly quickly. So that's what we're going to do today. And I hope all you folks out there are having a great start to your day. I know it's rough being stuck inside. Hold on, I'm trying to get this thing up here. There we go.
Having some trouble?
Having trouble. Having trouble.
Come quietly, or there will be...
But I want to remind you guys a couple of big things. So on April 11th, we've got a big live animation event that we're going to be doing. It's an internet event, and I'm just going to be sitting here drawing, showing you the basics, an introduction to animation. So if you're advanced, this might not be for you. It might, but if you want to get brushed up on some of the basics, it might be okay for you. But and also if you're looking for something to put your kids in front of for 6 hours, then this might be it. So if your kids are interested in animation, or if you're interested in animation, I'm going to be going through the bouncing ball, which is one of the first things you learn as an animator. And I'm going to be talking about timing and weight and stretch and squash and all those cool things. And then I'm also going to be taking you through the flour sack test, which is basically using all the things you learn with the bouncing ball, but then you put personality to it. And why we use a flour sack? Well, it's because we take away all the facial expressions and we have to do it with body expression. And that's what you do with the flour sack. You try to get that body to be expressive. And so that's what we're going to do. And then after that, we're going to talk about dialogue. So it'll be a full day, 6 hours. And the best part is it's only $5. And it's open to anybody. So $5, and we're going to give you an entire day's worth of teaching. So it'll be a lot of fun. And and by the way, Nick needs to walk the dogs. I just got a note from him.
He's walking the
dogs. But anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. So that once again, that's April 11th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so that's my time. Of course, it's my time.
Of course, it's your time.
I keep saying that's my time.
That's your time.
But of course, it's my time. Because that's where I'm going to be. Stay thirsty, my friends. Drink lots of water. Stay hydrated. And also, our sale is still going on. The animation course, an introduction to animation, or I talk about the fundamentals, my big course there, that is still absolutely free. We've had so many downloads of it. I think over 50,000 downloads.
Yeah.
It's been pretty amazing. And so that is still absolutely free. And then we have a big sale on everything else. And my lighting course is still 50% off. We're keeping the sales going so that you guys don't feel the crunch in your pocketbooks. And so we're really excited to be able to share that with you guys. But today, why don't we just go ahead and dive in? As usual, I've got Dustin with me, and he is a socially distant 6 feet away.
How's it going?
And although I read an article today that's saying that the coronavirus can jump 27 feet. It can get from 27 feet away. I hope that's not true, because we do still have to go to the stores. That's the only thing I've done is go to the grocery store and get a little closer than 27 feet. Are you yawning?
A little bit. I've been up since...
You're yawning.
I've been up since 6.
Oh, well, I haven't. All right.
I went to bed at 10.
So, let's get this going. File, new. YouTube question. If you punch yourself in the stomach and hurt yourself, are you strong or are you weak?
What?
That's pretty funny. If you punch yourself in the stomach, are you strong? And you hurt yourself, are you strong or are you weak? That's pretty funny.
That's a good question.
I know. You know what I've noticed? Several things since my new haircut. First of all, my head itches a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could feel when I was outside. Okay, I got sunburned the other night, the other day after I buzzed it.
Well, that's probably what it is.
Well, that's why it itches. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I've been outside working. We're building another deck, a big 300 square foot deck. But I've been out there working, and I don't care how small of an insect that lands on my head, I can feel it. I can feel them landing on my hairs.
And you're just like, yeah.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
Oh, God. And by the way, somebody asked earlier that for the people that go to the 6-hour live stream event, if they can't sit through the whole thing, you will get a recording of it. Yes, you will get a recording of it. You can take it home with you. You can download it. You can keep it forever. And my friend Jesse earlier said cold air feels different, I bet.
Yeah, well, we haven't had any cold air. It's been in the 90s here. But
we've had our ACs and all that. And yesterday I went out my walk at Lake Woodruff. That's where I got this blackbird shot.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night.
And even though it was 90 degrees out, there was a nice cool breeze. And it was keeping the back of my head nice and cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. It was quite nice.
It was quite nice. I'm going to just draw with a regular round brush. The standard brush that comes with
Erica Basis, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Erica.
Jason Evers says, Aaron got his ears lowered. Nice.
Oh, lowered? They dropped. They dropped right out.
And Lucretio says, shave the eyebrows, Aaron.
Oh, no. No, I draw the limit there. I did buzz them, though, because I've got those big old man eyebrows and ear hairs and all that. Now that
that's my problem.
Since I hit my 40s, now that I'm in my 50s, it's really bad. I'm thinking about the basic shape of the bird underneath here.
And Caroline says, "Hey guys, YouTube it is for me today. Getting some streaming between meetings. LOL."
All right. Hello, Caroline.
Hello, Caroline.
Boy, it has gotten hot since you left. It has gotten super hot since you left.
Angela says, "Oh wow, you both shaved your heads like father like son." Yep.
Yep.
It was funny is that I trimmed my head, but then I went for this for the goatee look, thinking like, oh, I want to try something different, and I completely forgot that Dad had the exact same style. And so when Dad posted the picture of the two of us together, I'm just like, oh my God, we are twins.
Yeah, the goatee looks good on you.
Thank you.
YouTube question. I'm interested in being an animator as I've been drawing all my life, and it's always been a passion. I'm lost as to where to start and what school to go to. Any tips? Well, you don't necessarily have to go to school. I mean, there's a lot of options on the internet, but school is definitely a great option. There's some great schools in Europe. In Europe, I think Gobelin is probably the best one for animation. In France. I'm not sure where in France it's located, but I've never seen anything but beautiful work come out of that school. But there's a lot of online options. You know, I've got online teaching as far as animation goes. There's a lot of great teachers out there teaching it that are professionals, and so there's that option as well. There's also some great books out. The Animator's Survival Kit, I think is what it's called, by Richard Williams, is amazing, and The Illusion of Life by Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston, or two of the original 9 old men that worked for Disney and actually pioneered a lot of the principles that we use today in animation.
Christopher December says...
Christopher Cross? What?
Christopher December says, "Good morning, Aaron from Claremont."
Hey, good morning. From Claremont. Well, stomping ground.
Right?
Yeah. I lived in Mineola. We lived in Mineola, but close enough.
I mean, still in that right nearby Claremont or in that same area. But
yeah, pretty cool. Anna on YouTube says, "Ciao from Italy." Hey, Anna, we are honored to have you with us. We know you guys are going through some horrible stuff there, and we wish nothing but the best for you.
Kathleen says, "Morning, Aaron."
Good morning.
And Basim says, "Hi, Mr. Aaron. I want to send you my recent artwork. How can I do it?"
You can send it to creatureartteacher.com. Support@creatureartteacher. Sorry, Nick, I can't remember what else. Or booking. You can send it to booking as well.
Booking.
Yeah, we'll get it there. So I've got the bird.
Bird's a word.
Bird. All right, so I'm doing this as a square, and I want it to kind of take up the upper third. One of the things that I've found is if you look at the center of this, the center of the body is basically in the upper third. If I like using thirds. If I break this up into thirds, it'll look a little bit like this. Well, let me redo that. It would be here and here. This is rough estimates. And let's say here and here. Okay, so I've basically got the blackbird kind of centered on the upper left third. But one of the things I've always noticed as well in a lot of my paintings, once I get the composition the way that I really like it, I'll have the general mass on the third, but I'll always have that eyeball right in the center. You see that? It's sitting right in the center. For some reason, it's just, for me, it turns out to be that's where the kind of sweet spot is for your center of interest on the animal. I find that interesting. So that's one of my if you're ever wondering about how to compose a painting, you know, these spots right here, here, and here are generally areas of where it feels most interesting, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I usually try to follow most of the time in my photos.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I end up getting a shot of my subject in the center, but in Lightroom I end up cropping it down to where it's in a third point.
And like there's a branch behind the bird right now. I'm actually putting it right behind them. And you'll notice I'm just going to have it kind of run down generally to where the third is kind of off to the, just basically right off of there. And I'll push that into the background.
And Christopher again asks, now that you're singing the song of the bird, do you know what band that sang the song, the Bird's a Word song?
I don't.
I used to. I don't remember it either anymore.
So there we go. So I'm going to put that there. It's a little different than what's in the photograph, but I kind of like that. Put that right behind the bird. Bird.
Jesus says, hey Aaron, I just recently bought your annual premium membership deal. I'm loving it so far. Can't wait to get through them during this quarantine. Nice cup, by the way.
Thanks. Well, thank you very much for buying it. I hope you do enjoy it. I hope you get a lot out of it. That's the goal, right?
That is the goal.
There we go. Here we go. Now, if you look at a bird's wings, I'll give you a little lesson here. The top, when you look at the top like this, you notice how I'm drawing them? The first feather folds underneath, and the next feather folds over the top, next feather folds over the top. And if you think about it, there's actually a reason for that. When a bird flaps its wings, as it pushes down, as it gets that power drive, as the wing comes down, you'll notice that the way the feathers are folded, they actually press against each other. So it creates a nice strong flap. Because if you think about it, as the wing is coming down, this feather is underneath this feather, which is underneath, and so they all press against each other, and he gets a good hard thrust through the air. And then as the wing comes up, he's going the opposite way, and the airflow can separate the feathers. There's less drag, and they'll actually open up, and you can get the air through, and then he pushes again. And so that is a little piece of evolution that has happened over the millions of years that birds have been around. It's very cool.
Matt Yoakum says, howdy y'all. I finally got approval to buy a Cintiq from the wife. Debating between a 22 and a 27 inch. I know you like to work larger, but is there any drawbacks to the 22?
No, none at all. Other than it's not 32. I love it. I have the 22, and it's great.
Yeah, they're all pretty much the same as far as quality goes. It's just a matter of your own preference of size.
Man, my head is all that sunburn, man. Itchy. It's driving me nuts, eh?
Well, at least you're not completely bald. You'd be peeling skin by now.
Oh, I know. So Nick said he's going to cut his hair next.
Oh, the Remingtons.
Twitch comment. Hello from Barcelona, Spain. Hello. And that's how you say it. Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Barcelona. YouTube question here, and how do you manage to make this paintings drawings from live moving animals when you can't know if they fly or run away? If they'll fly. You got to know that anatomy first. That's one of the first things that I do. Get the little blue one there. So it's really about knowing the anatomy ahead of time. So a lot of times you're getting basically the suggestion of when you see the pose, you're basically just kind of doing your own version of it. Yes, but full. Okay, it is full. And then so if you jot down the pose really quickly, and then you use your knowledge of the anatomy after that. Pull that together. There we go. Use your knowledge of the anatomy after that in order for you to get the rest of the drawing down accurately. So there is a bit of kind of faking in there because a lot of times you're not drawing what you see necessarily. You are drawing what you see. When you first start out, you're drawing that pose. And if the animal is just sitting there, then obviously you can sit there and draw to your heart's content. But a lot of times the animal is going to move, in which case then you have to draw what you know. You got to brush up on that anatomy knowledge.
And Eric Van Schelt asks, is it possible to do the reference picture in a split screen or picture-in-picture so that we can see the transformation of the drawing? Greetings from the Netherlands.
I'm going to have to make it really small. So hopefully that'll work for you.
Oh, perfect.
Does that work? I hope that works for you.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
It's the best I can do.
I'm sorry, but it's the best I can do.
So I'm drawing the lighter part of the bird, all the reflections. I'm going to go in with the dark later. And if you look at around where the body is, it's a little bit warmer there. It's cooler on the feathers, as the feathers are reflecting back a little bit of sky, and a little warmer on the bird, especially along the sides. It's reflecting more of the ground and whatnot.
And whatnot.
So I'm going to go in here, kind of hit some of this. Just make it a little warmer.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how you doing, eh?
How's it going, eh? How do you select the correct color for your layer mode multiply and overlay? How do you find the right color in that?
Well, it just depends on what the color is that I'm drawing. I mean, usually it's just a gut. I usually judge everything by value, meaning light and dark, and then temperature. If you'll notice, a lot of what I'm working in is in the gray realm. See how gray that is? And it's really a matter of temperature. So I'm really thinking about value, temperature, and the pure color really doesn't come about unless you're putting in like little accents. In which this case, this is one of the reasons I'm so drawn to this image is those red wings.
And the person that asked earlier on asking how the person can send artwork to the website, I don't think that person was here when you said it. Like, he just repeated the question.
Oh, so if you want to send something, there's no guarantee I could get back to you. I can't. We have thousands of people that want to send artwork, and I can't get to everybody. But if you want to send an image, then send it to either booking at Creature Art Teacher or support at creatureartteacher.com. I think that's right. I hope that's right. Don't know if that's right.
It is quite nice.
It is quite nice. So here I'm just keeping it really simple. We're gonna. There we go. I'm gonna go in and hit this with really nice deep darks here, so I'm not even gonna bother with that right now. Next thing I'm gonna do is that background. Sorry, I've got to do this. Because I'm gonna be going off the edges, so I got to get rid of that for just a little bit, and I'm gonna be working in the background. Oops.
What kind of bird are you drawing?
It's a red-winged blackbird.
Red-winged blackbird.
Yes. Texture brushes.
Jimmy Max Caldwin asks, Aaron, do you warm up before you start drawing? And what do you do that from Scotland?
No, I don't. I just start drawing. So it's there we go. I just start drawing.
And John Gomez asks, hi Aaron, how long does it usually take to do cleanup in animation?
It depends on the complexity of the design. But usually cleanup goes for probably 18 months.
How long does it take for like a single shot?
What's that?
How long does it take for a single shot?
Well, that depends too, because shots are all different lengths.
All right.
But an average shot is about probably take about a week. Then you got a big crew of everybody working, so you got to spread that out over time. Yeah, man, my computer's being super duper slow.
Rafael Andre asks, hey Aaron, do you manage your Instagram account or does someone else do that?
Nick and I both do it together.
We do it together.
I'm going to shrink this up. It's too big. There we go. Be a little more responsive. If you ever have a brush that's really lagging, like mine was, when you try to paint with it big, chances are your image is really big, or you might have a really slow computer. My computer isn't too badly slow, but yeah, I had this at 20 inches at 300 dpi, so there's a lot of resolution I had to figure out. And
Nicole, maybe someone already asked this, but did you watch Tiger King? It's awful.
It is awful. Yes, I did watch it. Twitch question. Hey Aaron, I've been sketching a ton of birds and animals lately. How can I communicate soft versus hard and rigid clumps of fur and feathers using just line? That's a good question. And that's a whole tutorial in itself. But you know, your line can, just the weight of the line can help. You can get kind of sketchy with it to help with fur. Just remember, you don't have to draw every hair. You know, you don't have to draw every feather. I try to get away with, and I'll show you today. You know, because I'm gonna keep this fairly. I want to keep this somewhat loose. It's going to be the idea here. Right now I'm just trying to get this background in. And this is a brush that a friend of mine gave me that I just find really, I just tried to use one of my other brushes, one of my texture brushes, and I found that it was lagging a little bit, and this one doesn't lag. So I jumped back over to it.
So I got a Brother Bear question from Steve Hawthorne. Aaron, if I may, I have a Brother Bear question for you, if I may. I love meeting the animator at CTN who worked on the transformation scene. The moment the mammoth explodes onto screen it always hits me in the gut.
That's Tony Stanley.
But at the moment, I'd love to know more. What I would love to know more about is a scene with Coda and Kenai, where Kenai draws a line of dirt separating the two bears, but Coda continues as a circle around him.
Yeah.
And then he sits into that circle with Kenai.
Yeah.
And I just loves that scene.
That was Alex Cooperschmidt, who was the supervisor of that character.
And
Alex Cooperschmidt also did Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Is there a story behind that scene?
No, there's no real story. I mean, the whole idea behind that whole sequence is that no matter what, Coda is always finding the positive. So that's the idea behind it. And so even if he's being separated out, he finds a way to be inclusive. And so so that was the idea. Now there were some things in there that we experienced and we tried to add into the film, like
The
when they're
Loogie scene.
when they're hanging on the when they're kind of balancing over the cliff with the wind.
Oh, that stuff. Yeah,
the wind is holding them up. We actually did that when we were in Alaska doing research for the movie, and we thought, man, that would be kind of fun to put into the film. We didn't actually fall down the mountain, but we did there. But yeah, there was a place called Turnagain Arm, which is outside of Anchorage, and it was the wind just gets funneled down this gorge basically, and we it was really whipping this one day, and we got out there, and I was able to actually hold my jacket and walk up a cliff.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And so we got up to the top, and just kind of hung into the wind, and we were able to lean into the wind over the cliff.
That's insane.
It was cool.
I just ask, hey Aaron, any chance that there'll be a future course on birds of prey on Creature Art Teacher?
Yes, that's one of my next courses, actually. Matter of fact, I was just looking up in bone clones, because I've got to get some skulls for the course, and I was just looking that up. So I'm just going in and hitting different. Oh. Normally my shoulders don't bother me, but I've been lifting all these 2x6s and big boards, and my shoulders are a little tired today. I'm building decking.
Have you heard about the wall creeper birds?
Yeah.
They look gorgeous.
Yep. I do. They're little songbirds. Little creepers.
Creepers.
Alright, we're getting there. Just putting a lot of different color back here.
We're almost there.
Want to get a little bit of light. There she goes. Hi. Excuse me.
You alright?
Yeah. Hey, Aaron from Gainesville. Quick question. Have you been approached to do scientific illustrations? I'm using your courses to do them digitally, switching from pen and ink. I have somewhat, not super. I've had a little bit of. I've got a few offers doing that, but I've never really taken them up on it because I don't feel like I have the biology degree in order to do it.
Gemma Jason asks, I'm doing your light course and learning a ton, but could you briefly explain on how you determine the grid lines using the ground plane on the basic drawings?
Oh, that was perspective. I just created the ground plane by creating a horizon line and then using 2-point perspective and created it that way. So that's a whole other lecture right there. All right, so I'm actually not going to be able to put the red-winged blackbird up on the other. Oops. Hold on a second. Doggone it.
You're alright.
All right. I'm all right. There we go.
Christopher asks, have you ever thought of coming to Animal Kingdom to do a class?
Uh, I would love to if Disney if Disney would have me. Oops, I'm gonna put it there. There we go.
And how important is originality in design versus mimicking for an entry level artist?
Well, I think entry level artists are going to learn a lot by mimicking, but ultimately, it's obvious you need to have your own style and abilities eventually. But I learned a lot by copying other artists' work when I first started out, and that's something we would do actually as an assignment. We would copy old masters.
Martin Berger says, in the movie Tangled, Rapunzel is kept in quarantine. Do you remember the name of the kingdom?
Corona.
Corona.
Kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. It was like a message. It was a prophecy of things to come.
Yes. We got to keep our sense of humor, that's for sure, through all of this.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of bad going on in the world. But you know what? It's amazing to me, as a result, all the examples of beautiful things that people are doing for each other. I love that.
I like how, God, I'm always forgetting his name.
Are you okay? You alright?
No, there's actor who got his start in The Office.
Oh yeah, Mitch, I can't remember.
But yeah, he's doing the
Good News.
Yeah, the Good News.
Yeah.
Thing on YouTube now.
Yeah.
And and I loved watching that the other day. It's like, please give us more. We need
Yeah.
more.
Do you think the live session will be useful for someone who is already accustomed to animation? I'm already following your tutorials as a subscriber. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be very basic. It's an introduction to animation. So if you're already past the bouncing ball and are on to animating characters, then this might be a little bit too basic for you. And we'll do something that's a bit more advanced down the road. But this one I wanted to keep it pretty basic.
Have you considered opening your own animation studio?
No, I'm going to continue to do animation, but opening a studio, there's a lot of overhead involved, and it's a big headache and a big outlay of a lot of capital, a lot of money, and it's just not something I want to do right now. Yeah. I like the simplicity of my life, teaching you guys and doing our live streams every week. And I just love that. I already did the studio. I did the studio for 23 years. 24 years.
In honor of Rapunzel, we should all get frying pans to beat this thing.
Ping.
Ping. You just randomly swing around a frying pan, all of a sudden you just hear ping. There goes one Corona. My Corona.
Yeah, Nick reminded me I've done a class at Animal Kingdom. I did it for WDI. Yes, I did do that, but I'm assuming they meant for the public.
Marmber asks, in the Birds of Prey course, can you do one lesson in gouache? That would be so cool.
Sure. That's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea, eh?
It's quite nice.
Yes.
It's quite nice idea there. Red Brock asks, what is your graphic tablet, please? I'm starting in the digital art, and I don't know which graphic tablet would be ideal for making detailed drawings.
If you're just starting out, this is probably overkill for you. Because the one I'm using is a big. There it is.
Yep.
This is a 32-inch Wacom Cintiq Pro.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy. It is quite big.
He's quite large.
But there's a lot of other if you're just starting out, you might want to consider looking at an iPad Pro, with Procreate.
There's also the 16-inch.
I was going to say there's also the 16-inch introductory level for the Cintiq, which is this. It's a smaller one. Oh,
I think there's even like a 13-inch.
Yeah, the 13 I think is too small.
Too small?
I think that's too small. Yeah. Personally. Now, there's a lot of people out there that have it that love it. So,
yeah.
But for me, I just find it too small to navigate, especially in Photoshop.
Yeah.
So now it's really finding these dark and light patterns in the bird and exploiting those, and then I'll be going back in and working some of these lighter areas, playing with their warmth. You notice I'm not really drawing feathers. Don't have to. Just drawing these patterns. What's your motivation for becoming an animator? Well, for me at the time, I became an animator. I started learning animation in 1988 at the age of 20 years old. And I really had never planned on becoming an animator, but I needed a job, and I interviewed with Disney, and I thought I might become a background painter or something. And then I got matched up with Glenn Keane, who's a wonderful contemporary animator, but he was my mentor back then, and he did the Little Mermaid, and he was the supervisor of the Beast, and a lot of other characters, and he's just an amazing, inspiring animator. And I remember him showing me what he was doing, and I instantly just realized right then I wanted to be an animator. Animation encompasses acting and music and all these things that I love, and art, and so to be able to wrap all that in there is really, really cool. And so that's what inspired me to become an animator.
I've been using mainly traditional mediums for your courses. I want to start using an iPad. What apps do you recommend using for both drawing and animation?
Procreate, for sure.
Yeah, because Procreate can do both, right?
Yeah. I think Calipeg is another software that's going to be coming out. And I've used it a little bit. I tried it. It's really cool.
Question. When putting together a character design portfolio, is it okay to use characters based on existing stuff, such as like literary works like Three Musketeers, or should the characters be original creations?
No, they can be from existing novels, just as long as it's your take on it. Stuff that's in public domain, like the Three Musketeers, I think is okay. When you start going in and doing your own versions of Disney characters and things like that, that's where, we don't, no one wants to see that.
And because he comments after that, says, I have a hard time with coming up with original characters without at least some form of description or prompt that when having an existing idea, I can come up with quite good designs.
That's awesome to hear, because one of the first things I tell people when they're designing characters and character design is write your character first. You've got to write your character first. And so if that's what you're doing, then that's fantastic. You know, when I did my, if you look at my character design course on my website, um, one of the things we do is we go through Moby Dick and do the characters from Moby Dick. We do Peter and the Wolf, because we know that, you know, I know those descriptions. So we talk about the descriptions a little bit.
And to the latecomers, this is a red-winged blackbird.
We just don't have the red wing in yet.
Not yet. It's interesting how it's called a red wing, even though it has red and yellow shoulders.
Yeah, but it's mainly red, you know.
Yeah. But they're also like on the shoulder, not entirely on the wing.
Yeah. And it's really vivid. YouTube question here, and how do you manage to make this paintings drawing from live move? Oh, sorry, I already read that.
I remember.
Know your anatomy. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. I remembered hearing that you wanted a job at Nat Geo. Have you ever gotten any commissions from them after you became an established Disney artist?
No, and I always wish I could have. So if there's anybody from National Geographic out there listening, I would love to do an illustration job for National Geographic.
And I would love to be a wildlife photographer for Nat Geo.
Wow, you're just like one of the other all the other millennials there, right from the beginner to right to the pro.
I'm not saying now. At some point down, like a couple of years from now, maybe 10 years. Yes, Sophie. This is this drawing is based on one of my pictures. It's actually a picture that I just edited and posted yesterday, because I took it yesterday. The red-winged blackbird.
It is great nice.
It is great nice.
Never gets old, does it?
Never does. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. She said, "You are talented enough for it, Dustin." Thank you.
Hey Aaron, I always miss this in your drawings. How and when do you make the line work to color transition? When and how do you transform your lines from for pure color drawing? Well, the line work is there strictly as a guide for me to basically color. And then and eventually I'll just let them fade out. So like in this case, I'll go to the drawing layer and just kind of fade it out a little bit, fade it out. And we'll come back and we'll rework it. But right now I like having it in there, the drawing. You just hold it together a little better. A little better.
Just a little better.
Mo better blues. So now I'm going to set that to multiply and get a little more red in there.
Right there.
Crikey.
Look at that right there.
You know, you can't do bright red. You can do dark red, but you can't do bright red. You can do bright yellow, bright blue, bright anything else, but you can't do bright red. It just becomes pink. Red is red. It's one of the oddities in the color world.
Hey Dustin, when did you start photographing? I loved your wildlife photographs. Thank you. Last year, like late March. Actually, I think it's roughly around this time when I got started last year. And I started off with the Canon Rebel T6 because I got my first camera when Proco was in town. Remember?
Oh yeah, yeah.
When did that was in March?
That was March.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, that was March. Yep. It's been a while. What?
I think it's been 1 year now. I think
Oops.
either just passed or it's just coming up to my 1 year mark of becoming a wildlife photographer. Crazy, right?
Yeah, right. Do you have bird feeders around your house? If so, what birds do you most often see at them? Yes, I have bird feeders, and I most often see cardinals and titmouse.
Did you have a few occasional hummingbirds here and there?
A very few.
Very few.
Not very many at all. It's not like California. Remember in California how many hummingbirds we would get?
Oh God, they were everywhere.
Yeah.
You remember the deer that would roam around?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing Dr. Martin design on boots using cheap boots to design on them. What paint can I use to add patterns?
Probably an acrylic. I'm guessing.
Yeah, because the material on like if you're painting on the boot, then depends on what materials the boot's based off of. If it's like a certain type of leather or whatever other materials they use for boots.
A material.
A material girl.
Like, oh my God, I'm some material.
It's getting there. I want this thing to be more opaque. I got to get it to. But I'm going to build it up. I'm just going to build it up.
Hey Erica, she's asking, how is the Canon T6 looking to get a decent camera in the future? It's a good starting camera. It's good for portraits. It can suffer a little bit if trying to shoot wildlife, especially when trying to shoot fast because it can't shoot that fast. But other than that, it's a good start. I would personally go. I would look into Sony cameras because I'm all Sony now. I'm complete Sony bias.
Yeah, their ISOs are insane, right?
Yeah. Well, full frame cameras are like that, but the Sony cameras are also very well known for their autofocusing, like their continuous autofocus and everything.
All right. Which is perfect for
Wildlife. Like even like the A6000, which I believe is in the $500 to $600 range. It's like $100 more than the Rebel T6, but it has continuous autofocus and can shoot 11 frames per second among other features. So I would go with that as a good camera base.
YouTube comment. Hey Aaron, it would be amazing if you could make some merchandise of hats, shirts, jumpers that have the words beauty on them. I would buy everyone. It would, except that's not one of my comments. That's from Brother Bear, which is not. That's a Disney movie. And it's kind of, well, actually, it's even more than that. It's kind of copyrighted by Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas as their characters. Beauty.
Have you
Bob
tried?
and Doug McKenzie.
Have you tried digitally drawing on a photo?
Yeah. It's one of the things I do actually when I'm doing a traditional painting and I run into I'm having a hard time knowing what to do next. I'll take a picture of it, a digital picture, bring it into Photoshop, and then I'll paint on it in Photoshop to help kind of solve the problems, and then I'll print it out and use that as my reference. It works quite nice.
Rich sweet nice.
Yeah. Twitch question. One of the things I was curious about when drawing birds was finding out where their legs go when you're flying, and I found out that every bird is different. So where do the redwing's legs go when it's flying? Well, the legs on a bird are very interesting the way they sit in there. You got to remember, we all have the same parts, including birds. This is something I always talk about. So on so like on this bird, here we have, if you think about its body, we're looking at it from the side. So here's the tail coming out. Let me blow this up. Here's the beak. Okay, and his wings are out towards us. You know, they fold their legs up. But you got to remember, a bird has got, and I'm going to be 90% accurate on this. They have a thigh just like we have a thigh. So the thigh is here. Here's the hip back here where the pelvis is. Okay? The thigh is here. Comes back. There's the ankle. You know, here's the knee right here. Like that. And then there's the ankle, and then it folds up. And then the feet are right here. Now the feet are going to fold up inside the feathers a little bit more. But it folds up like an accordion. So if he dropped his feet down, it look like that. That's how the leg looks. So here's the thigh. There's the calf. Here's the ankle, and then down to the feet, like that. And so that's how they fold up inside. So once again, they have all the same parts we have. It's just that they're shaped differently. So then this is all covered up with feathers. That's why you don't see it. It's all covered in feathers. So there you go. There's your bird lesson for the day.
Nice.
So it helps to know your anatomy. Always. The force will be with you. Always.
The birds will be with you.
Always.
Always. Can you explain to us how the wings fold up?
Someone's arguing with me. They're debating me.
Oh, about the way the feet are?
No, about red. I think you can do bright red. It will be a neon red. Nope. If you take that neon red and compare it to any other red, it's just going to be red. Neon red looks neon because of the color and the values around it, because of the dark, usually, that you see around it. When you get into true red, now you might see neons shift. Maybe it'll go into magenta, some kind of, you know, something a little different. But if you're taking true red, you can't do bright red. You just can't do it. It's another thing that people don't realize. This is completely unrelated to the red. But did you know that, like in this bird, there's red pigment in his feathers, there's yellow pigment in the feathers. Did you know and you're gonna go, well, what about this bird? What about that bird? Do you know there's not a single bird in the animal kingdom that has blue pigment in their feathers?
Not even the little blue heron, great blue heron?
Exactly. No. Do you know what it is?
Black?
No. Do you know what gives you the? No. There's birds out there that obviously look blue, but do you know what it is that makes them look blue? It's light refraction.
Huh.
Blue jays are not blue. Bluebirds are not blue. It's all light refraction. It's the whatever, I can't remember what the material is that's in the wing. It soaks up all the other colors in the spectrum and reflects back only the blue spectrum. It's like icebergs. If you see a beautiful, pristine iceberg, it's one of the deepest, or even in a glacier, it's one of the deepest, most beautiful blues you'll ever see. But it's only because it's only reflecting back the blue spectrum in the light. There's nothing in there that's blue. Blue in nature in general is actually extremely rare. For instance, there's hardly any true blue food. That's from Nick. That's a cool observation. I never thought about blue food.
We kind of went off the question earlier, but can you explain to us how the wings fold up?
Oh no, that was about the feet. I talked about the feet.
Yeah, but another person asked about wings.
About wings? Okay. Yes, I can do wings. Hold on one second. Let me get this in here. So wings are like arms. Okay? So there's our legs, right? And wings are like arms. So if we have a human, right here, here's our human, and we have an arm out like this. It's a long arm, but anyway, there's your human with the arms out, okay? And your pectoral muscle comes in here, goes into your deltoid, which comes down like that, bicep, and so on, okay? Now a bird has same thing. You see it when you look at chicken wings. Okay? So it's got the shoulder. Now it goes into a very huge pectoral muscle. Like that. And that is what that big breastplate is, if you've ever seen on a bird. You know, animals that have big muscles that need to connect will connect to big plates. So if you look at a dog or a bear.
A bear.
Here's a bear. Okay. Here's a grizzly bear. Now the thing about a grizzly bear is that they've got incredible biting power, and so you'll see there's this crest that goes down the skull, and because the reason they have this crest is for all that muscle to attach. It needs to attach somewhere, and it needs a good anchor, and so it attaches to this crest, and that therefore it gives the bear incredible biting power. Well, it's the same thing with a bird. A bird needs incredible flying power, right? You know, it needs a lot of muscle to power those wings, and so there's a big crest that goes down the chest. We don't have it because our wimpy little pectoral muscles are nothing compared to a bird's. But if you look at a bird, they've got a big crest that goes down their chest. You can see it when you carve your turkey on Thanksgiving. You can see that thing, and all that muscle attaches in there. Okay. So you've got that, you've got the elbow, you've got the wrist, and it's kind of gone down to like a finger or two, can't remember, and right here. So all your feathers attached to the back and along the top. And let me move this over. Whoops, I was drawing on the wrong layer. Anyway, the feathers here come out. And there's your bird wing. And so when it folds up, it folds like this. So the wing comes up like this. And then when the let me get rid of this. First of all, I drew on the wrong layer, so let me do it this way. X. Okay, so where is it? There it is. I'm drawing that layer. So when a bird is sitting here, okay, like so, if he dropped his wings straight down, think of the shoulder here. A bird can drop its wings straight down and it would look something like that, right? if it dropped its wing down. And all that is, like I just showed you, is the arm coming down like this. Think of the arm right there. See, that makes sense, right? And all the feathers come off. Well, in order for the bird to sit there and the wings get folded up, this is what's happening. So here's the same bird sitting here like this. Okay? It's a little bigger bird. But now he basically brings his shoulder up, bends his arm, and bends his wrist like that. So he's like this. Okay? And so what happens is these feathers, the primary feathers will fold up like this and stick off the back. Secondary feathers will come up like this. So that when you see a bird, you're looking at all the feathers coming off. You can see the wrist right here. But that's basically how they sit. And then the secondaries come off of here. So when the arm opens up, it just opens up this way, like so. So in this case, on the bird that I'm drawing right now, if you were to see underneath, it's the shoulder. The shoulder is right here, and then his upper arm is back here, and then if I'm drawing this like a human, and then so it's like that, and then here the shoulder's going back, and then the wrist is up here. Okay, so there's the hand, forearm, and then shoulder like that, and then all the feathers coming off like so. Okay, all right, back to the drawing.
Yeah, it's currently 10:10.
We have, okay, so I got 20 minutes.
Yep.
Roughly. I mean,
Roughly.
I'm going to end up going over because I got sidetracked a little bit.
Well, as long as it's not like over 2 more hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, is that what you're saying?
that's what I'm saying. You know that's what I'm saying. Serena asks, hey Aaron, I'm animating again as I watch the live stream, and I have a question. How do you approach animating two characters interacting? Are there particular things you think about before you start?
Yes. I think about who is the dominant character. And I start with the dominant character. There's a lot of times when we're working on a movie where two characters interact and it's two different animators that have to do it. And so you figure out who that dominant character is first, and then that animator goes first.
So you think about who's going to be on first and what's going to be on second.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's going to be on third.
I actually don't have enough primary feathers in here. I don't think I drew enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I guess I did.
Paul says, hey Aaron, I'm
Hey.
doing some creature designs, and I was wondering if you had some book recommendations on animal anatomy. Greetings from Croatia.
Well, I've got some book recommendations on animal anatomy and creature design by Terrell Whitlatch. Nick will put the link up. But it's it's creature design by Terrell Whitlatch. I actually wrote the foreword for one of the books. TerrylWhitlatch. Whitlatch. She's awesome. She's an incredible creature designer. Did a lot of stuff for Star Wars. She's a very good friend, and she's incredibly kind. And incredibly, she's put so much work into her knowledge. I'm not going to say she's talented. I'm going to say she's busted her butt.
Busted her behind.
Yeah, she's insanely good. I've learned a lot from her. Alright, so there's our wing. And we're going to give it a little bit of blur here in a little bit.
Hey, do you have an absolute favorite bird to draw or paint?
You know, it sounds weird, but I loved painting, and I got into this for a while, and I was actually painting so many of them, I was putting them in galleries. I was doing a lot of paintings of gulls. And I know that sounds weird, but first of all, I love the beach. But the second part is gulls, you know, with their white plumage, that simple, you know, white and gray plumage, really reflect back very nice, subtle colors of warm and cool according to whatever they're standing near. And so it was always fun to kind of try to capture that for me. I loved waterfowl. When I was a kid, the first wildlife I ever drew was ducks. My father was a duck hunter, and he carved a lot of decoys, and so I would sit in the garage with him as he carved his decoys, and I learned all my ducks by the time I was 6 years old, and it was very cool. All right, let me go here. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to hit some warmth in here, I
It'll make it nice and warm.
think.
Nice and toasty warm.
Get a little cooler with that one, I think, but a little brighter.
You're not sending me into the cooler.
So I can go back and work into this and get some nice effects here. As I work back into I don't like that.
Angela asks, for the Birds of Prey course, can you cover different mouth shapes when adding character to birds? I find it difficult to keep the expressions on the beaks appealing.
Yes, I can do that. Absolutely.
Absolutely. What?
I don't know if Nick did that or somebody else, but it's a picture of Joe Exotic but with my face. It's Aaron Exotic.
Oh no!
Did you see Proco's Tiger King image of you? No, I didn't.
That's Proco?
I didn't.
Proco did that?
Yes. Proco? Yeah, you motherfucker.
You should take the same picture and Photoshop Proco's face on it this time.
I know. I'm gonna have to draw something with Proco.
Yeah, when's the next time we're going to see them? I missed those guys.
I don't know. Hopefully never.
Come on.
It's hilarious.
Long King Kim Hang says, "Hi there, Aaron. How are you doing?"
Good. How are you? How are you?
Hi. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm getting those feathers warmed up a little bit in there. So now what I want to do is I'm going to lose some edges here.
Matt Yoakum asked, did Achilles, Travis, and V shave their heads too?
No.
Travis did.
Oh, Travis did, yes. Sorry. Achilles, no.
Paul Marshall hasn't either.
No.
I think I've seen Grandpa have the exact same hair, the exact same hairstyle all my life, just gotten whiter as time went on.
But no.
questions.
I'm all out of questions.
Dustin cracks Aaron up. I try my best.
All right.
You know the one that makes you crack up the most?
Rabbit fever.
Duck season.
Rabbit fever.
Rabbit season.
Duck fever fire.
I love it. You got bugs down pretty good now too.
Just that particular phrase, I think, so far.
Yeah.
I tried watching Space Jam, or I didn't try. I did watch Space Jam the other day, and I tried impersonating bugs in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's very tricky. It's a lot trickier than it looks, or than it sounds. And Martinberg asks, how are Marshall and Vedanta? Do they feel better? Did you get test results?
We have not gotten test results yet.
But they're feeling better.
But they are doing great, yes.
And Gabby just came on and said, it's 7 a.m. I'd love to watch and chat, but good night.
Get out of here,
Okay.
Gabby.
Have sweet dreams, Gabby. See you later in the morning. Can you do Sylvester? Caitlin. Sylvester. He's the cat that's always after
Yeah. Tweety Bird.
Tweety Bird.
And it's basically Daffy. Same.
Yeah, but he has like a. It's almost like he has the same kind of twang in his accent. Like he has a different accent that's similar to that of Bugs a little bit.
Yeah.
But with that lisp.
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. See,
you.
that's the proper way to sneeze. Right into your arm.
Bless you.
All right, so now we're gonna come in here. First of all, I'm gonna take this.
What's up, Dak?
And double that up.
Why did the time and day of the live stream change?
It didn't change. We added one. We're still on Fridays. We are still around for Fridays. We wanted to add one for everyone being stuck at home, and the reason we changed the time is we wanted to be more time friendly for our friends in Asia.
Nate Ball says, your voice reminded me of Droopy a little earlier. Which one's Droopy again? I'm always forgetting all these names.
Droopy Dog.
Oh, is he the
going
going
up?
upstairs?
Yeah.
Kisses. File the game.
Yeah.
Have a good day, sir.
So here I'm just losing edges. I like to lose edges a little bit.
Christopher says Mel Blanc is the only voice artist who did Bugs and Daffy imitating each other. Mel Blanc was a master doing his characters imitating the other character.
Yeah. Well, Mel Blanc was just a master.
Oh yeah.
He was incredible.
He did so many of the Looney Tune voices back then. And yeah, I definitely think that Jeff Dunham,
Yeah.
the ventriloquist.
But did you say ventriloquist?
Ventriloquist. Did I say ventriloquist?
It's okay. I'm just giving you a hard time.
My English is so bad today.
No, it's all right.
but I think he got the idea from Mel Blanc to. He did a skit. it was a year, 2 years ago, where it was Jeff with his monkey character puppet, Peanut, in which Peanut brings out a puppet of his own that is Jeff Dunham, and so Peanut is impersonating Jeff Dunham with his own little Jeff Dunham doll.
Oh yeah.
And then Jeff Dunham himself brings out an even smaller Peanut, imitating Peanut. It turns this whole frenzy of Jeff Dunham making it look like Peanut's impersonating him while he's impersonating Peanut. It's just like, what's going on?
It's pretty darn funny.
Oh yeah, I need to show that. I need to find that and show that to you because it is mind blowing.
Alright, so here I'm adding a little bit of blur to the wings. And I'm going to lose a few edges in here.
When Aaron sneezed, the stream stopped working for a second.
Well, it's funny. You can't sneeze anymore. You better not sneeze in public.
I never thought of that.
And if you feel like you're going to sneeze, you better run away.
Yeah. Jason Confessor says that Aaron sounds like Bill Murray. Never thought of that.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
There we go. Softening some edges here.
Blanc did all the voices for Looney Tunes. Oh, yeah. Master. Where's the kaboom? The almighty kaboom. Oh no, was it earth shattering? The earth shattering kaboom.
I think so. So there it is. There's our little bird. Our blackbird, red-winged blackbird. Blackbird singing in the dead of the night.
Take these broken wings and learn to fly.
Okay, so now I had behind him, I had these little twigs, these twigsters. First thing I want to do is I'm going to take this background and I'm going to Gaussian blur it. About 17 pixels.
Hi,
For a
Aaron.
little depth.
Sorry.
It's okay. You go ahead and interrupt me. It's all right.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Hi, Aaron and Dustin. What's your favorite animated movie that's not Disney? I was blown away by The Secret of Nim when I was a
I
teenager.
was just going to say Secret of Nim. But also Iron Giant. Iron Giant by far is my favorite non-Disney film. Animated film.
I think growing up, one of my favorites because I was so into sci-fi is Titan AE.
Yeah.
I remember watching that one quite a lot.
But then again, there is no accounting for taste.
That's true too.
That was my catchphrase for a while. Hey, hello, Aaron and Dustin. Hope you're well. Who are some of the artists you look up to as kids? I loved Frank Frazetta as a kid. I couldn't afford his books, but I used to go to the bookstore and just pull the same book out off the shelf and sit there at the mall and just go through that book, and I'd try to memorize what each of the drawings or each of the paintings, and then I would go home and try to paint it. And I kind of learned my kind of the fantasy approach of anatomy that way by looking at Frank Frazetta books, and it was kind of cool. I really loved his work, as did a lot of us. Was I drawing on the background that whole time? Doggone it. Oh, that annoys me. Oh well.
Are you blurring the wings with a smudge tool?
Yes. Losing the edges. Right there. I use one of my foliage brushes, does it really well. So now I'm going to blur this again. We turn that off. That off. Come on. Okay, hit return.
Oh, that's
Turn
another.
that off.
Oh, my favorite. Somebody mentions Nate Ball as well as Sophie both agreed to each other, saying that their favorites is Land Before Time. That's another great one. I remember when I was little, the T-Rex always scared me.
It was meant to.
Oh yeah, it did a good job at it. And Esther Rogers asks, "Hi, Aaron. Are you going to CTN
Hello.
this year?"
Yes,
I missed you last year at CTN. I really hope this year it does not get canceled.
Yeah, I think we might be okay with that. Yes, we are going to CTN if it's not canceled. All right. Well, here we are. Here we're just finishing up here. Here.
Here we are.
People on YouTube are stating that they cannot wait for the Birds of Prey. That's cool. Hey Aaron, I know you love guitars, and I remember you once said you'd show us the ones you own. Is that already in a video, or haven't you done it yet? Because I'd love it. Take care. You know what? I'll pull out my guitars next time. YouTube comment. Legend has it that Mel Blanc also did the voices of the uncle sitting in the bathtub at Carousel of Progress. It was the only time Mel did a voice for Walt. Oh, that's cool. I never knew that. Is that a piece of Tim Hodge information? I wonder. YouTube question, comment. YouTube question. I recently purchased your Lioness charcoal course, or Lion charcoal, or Lioness, that's right. Since I am not using a mat board, but rather an archival cotton-based paper, is there any difference in the techniques I should use to draw? There is a little bit of difference. Obviously, paper is not the same as mat board, which is why I specified using the mat board. But you can do it. It's just not going to work exactly the same. And mat board, I don't know if you have toned paper, you need, it's imperative that you start with a toned something, because that's all part of the whole process. So I'm hoping you do that. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of difference because it's paper and not board. All right, well, here it is. I'm going to actually take him and blow him up a little bit, I think.
What's the cartoon with the three pigeons? Not the dumb one I remember. Three pigeons.
Yeah, I like that a little better.
Yeah, was it a skit or was it a actual movie? Three pigeons. I don't remember a movie that had three pigeons in it. Three pigeon characters.
Then I'm going to do this.
Yeah, lately I've been catching up on Disney Plus, and I've been watching all the Disney classics like Oliver and Company and Beauty and the Beast and Great Mouse Detective. Just taking a trip down memory lane.
Yeah. There you go. I like having it a little darker down there. There.
Oh, Good Feathers from the Animaniacs. Yeah. I'm don't remember seeing that many episodes of them, but I do remember seeing the characters as kids meal toys at McDonald's. Was it McDonald's or Burger King that did Animaniacs back then?
There we go. We are done.
And it is 10:32. Perfect timing.
It is quite nice.
It is great nice.
So there it is. There's our red-winged blackbird flying along.
It is
And
great nice.
you can see how I kind of use that smudge tool to blur the wings a bit, which is not something that's in Dustin's photo, but I like having that sense of action. And it's really about, look at the value when I'm doing the stuff. I look at the value of the light areas, and quite often, more often than not, they're a little darker than what you'd think they would be, because only because they pop out like they're really light because of them being compared to absolute black, which is what we're looking at in the bird wing here. And one thing I don't like is this. Let me come in here. And so I'm gonna paint over. I don't like that line showing through. There we go. Just get rid of that a little bit. There. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. There. So because it's compared to absolute black, a lot of those light areas look like they're lighter than they really are, but they're actually quite dark.
You're quite neat.
They're quite dark.
You're
So
quite dark.
you're quite dark.
Your face is quite dark.
Yes, it is. So there we go. And, you know what
Here's
I'm going to do? I'm going to
Sign it. Save it.
just lose that edge just a touch. Just lose that edge a little bit. Give it a little bit of action. There we go.
Just a little bit.
There we go.
Just a little action.
So there it is. There is our red-winged blackbird flying. Here is the reference, the reference.
The reference. And you know why there's no motion blur on the original photo?
Because you shot it with a really fast shutter speed.
64/100th of a second.
Wow. That's funny. That's cool. So there's the two images. So that was fun. And you know, if you sitting down and copying photographs, although you know it's not something you should always do, but you know, as a kid I did this a lot, and it really teaches you a lot about light, and you know, there's a lot you can learn by doing that. I recommend getting out there and drawing from life as often as you can, and also drawing from photographs. You know, photographs lie, and if you don't know the anatomy ahead of time, a lot of times you can tell that people use the photograph because they'll draw some weird anatomy in there, but based off of what they're looking at in the photograph. But a lot of times photographs will make things look different. So anyway, so there is our red-winged blackbird. And I hope you guys had a great time today. Remember, stay home, stay safe. We're going to get through all of this. It's just a few more weeks, and we're going to get through this, and we're going to come out the other side. So I hope all of you out there stay healthy. And I know it's hard being cooped up, and people are on edge, but when you go out, if you do go out, go to the stores or whatever, be patient. Not everyone is going to be thinking the same as you, so just walk away if you have to, but you know, help to put some beauty back into the world and be kind to everybody, okay? And I will talk to you on Friday at 1 p.m. And also remember, we've got our upcoming animation course, Introduction to Animation, on April 11th. It's going to be a live event. If you go to creatureartteacher.com/live, you'll be able to get all the information for that. It's going to be a 6-hour event on April 11th, starting at 11 a.m. my time, and I don't know why I keep saying my time. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and yeah. So there's that, and then also a lot of our stuff is on sale right now. So go over and check out if you're interested in learning some new anything related to art, digital art, character design. Now's the time to get over there and purchase. My approach to painting light, that's 50% off. Remember, my animation course, my Introduction to Animation Fundamentals, is absolutely free. We've decided to just give it away for free. We've had over 50,000, I think that's what Nick said. We've had over 50,000 downloads of it, which makes me really happy. And then we've got a lot of other things on sale as well. So go over and check that out. I hope you enjoyed doing our red-winged blackbird today. That was fun. And like I said, I'll see you on Friday. So until then, put some beauty back in the world, and I will talk to you next time. Dustin?
Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you're interested in seeing more photos like this, you can check them out at my Instagram, which is at Dustin_Blaze. Again, that's Dustin_Blaze. And that is my Instagram, and I do a lot of wildlife photography over there, and I try to post at least a photo each day as time goes on. So I hope you enjoy those. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this stream, and I think it was a lot of fun today.
It was.
And so looking forward to see you guys on Friday later this week, and until then, Cowboy Bebop. See you guys.
Cowboy Bebop.